is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Holy smokes. If you ever need a private investigator, Barnaby Jones.
Barnaby Jones.
That's who I would recommend.
Starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather.
Catwoman might help. Number 9, Mr. Drew Brees. On tonight's episode of Barnaby Jones. Tonight's episode, the 2-minute drill. It is a Tuesday, feels like Monday afternoon. Doesn't feel like a Tuesday, but I'll say I guess it feels a little bit more like a Tuesday than yesterday felt like a Monday. What a strange Monday it was. Felt so Sunday-ish yesterday. Hope you had a good Memorial Day holiday, extended weekend with friends and family. And hopefully, at least for a moment, remembering those in the armed services mostly that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our precious freedom, precious freedom. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. A little bit of rain in the metro area. Muy poquito, very little rain, not much at all. I don't know if it's enough to like wet the lawn, water the plants, that type of rain. May not even be enough to, get the dirt off the windshield of the car, but a little bit of rain in the metro. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser winding down. End of May, beginning of June, we call it a day. We usually we don't hype it as much in June. We just like tying up the loose ends, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. It's June 1st, June 2nd. I didn't donate. I want to donate. We're not going to, no, we're not taking your money, But I mean, hey, Corey, it's September 10th. I'm donating for Humane May. Well, dude, September 10th, just donate to the Humane Society of Louisiana. But our Humane May fundraiser going on right now for 2 more days, for about the next, 31 hours and 52 minutes? Tomorrow is May 31st. Tomorrow, the last day of May. Tomorrow, the final day of our Humane May fundraiser, where we're trying to raise $10,000. You, the listening audience, you, the viewing audience, checking out the program. We're trying to save cats and dogs and kittens and puppies and goats and horses, animals that are suffering, trying to treat them more humanely. Jeff and the crew at the Humane Society of Louisiana, they get results. That's why every Thursday I get Jeff on the program, toss him a bone. Every May we try to raise $10,000 because I have this camera, this microphone. We're getting close. We're not there yet. Around 7,500 or so right now. Closing in on $8,000, but only today and tomorrow left. Please donate right now, humanela.org. Let's save some animals. Let's treat animals more humanely, less suffering in Louisiana. humanela.org. Go to the website. It's easy. You'll see me laying down under a blanket with Blue Boy, world famous Blue Boy. Click on that. Click on donate. It's going to put $35 up. That's fine. You want to do less? $5, $10, $15, whatever. Want to do more? Yes. $50, $75, $100, any amount. They'll take it at the Humane Society of Louisiana and they'll use it to save animals. humanela.org. humanela.org. Please go to the website right now. Please donate generously. You know that earlier in the month, you're like, yeah, I got all month to do it. It's the end of the month. It's May 30th. Tomorrow's the last day in May. HumaneLA.org. Hey, the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. Young'sDryCleaning.com. A New Orleans institution since 1940, doing you right in Metro New Orleans for over 80 years. Old school walk-up locations. Today's preferred method of dry cleaning, free pickup and delivery, East Bank, West Bank, home or office. And the future of dry cleaning, Young's Express, their manless locker locations, their restoration department. They're the biggest because they've always been the best. If you're tired of your dry cleaner, they're folks that just sort of settle with their dry cleaner. You've been with them for years. You've been with them maybe for decades, and you don't like them. Bing! Jettison them. Go with the best. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Young'sDryCleaning.com. 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Young's. Find them at Young'sDryCleaning.com. Make the switch. NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune over the weekend. Something we've talked about for a long time. An article, UEP Long Bridge widening didn't deliver what politicians predicted for West Jefferson. And the story missed the entire reason why. There's one reason why it's not slow growth. It's not a few houses have been built, a street or two, a neighborhood's going up. There's a strip mall or two. There's nothing. There's nothing. Instead of this TPC golf course, PGA Tour involved, the state of Louisiana involved, to anchor this community of work, live, play, new neighborhoods, some like office parks, low-rise office parks, all convenient. I mean, 5 seconds from Clearview Shopping Center, Elmwood, Old Jefferson, moments from the Earhart Expressway, moments from the I-10, airline, in and out of the city. Right there. Right there. You can go from Elmwood to the TPC, that area, in 5 to 7 minutes. $1 billion UEP Long Bridge expansion, over $1 billion with a B spent on the expanded UEP Long Bridge. No, and it's like someone came and dropped cat poop in the punch bowl at the party. So there's this great party, you got the band, everybody's ready, and then you have this big bowl of punch, and it's literally got cat poop in it. Just wreck the party, ruin the party. Mr. Schwest wants to build a motorsports track. That is fantastic. Motorsports track. Love to see some type of Grand Prix type racing in New Orleans. Someone wants to build a NASCAR type track. I'm all for it. Someone wants to build a tennis facility to bring a pro tennis event here. All for it. So all for Mr. Schwest's $50 million plus racetrack. Ambitious ideas. Worst case scenario, it's a rich guy's country club for racing. Bring your Ferraris, your Porsches, your street legal cars out there. Maybe bring your race car and a trailer out there and go pay the fee or be a member and go drive 200 miles an hour, whatever. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you get a race out there, which they tried and failed. I love the idea of the track. I love the idea of a multimillionaire that has a passion about the track. But if you had real political leadership, and you're talking about $1 billion UEP Long Bridge, this Bridge City area being rebranded, renamed as Fairfield, the Fairfield community, this TPC golf course in the middle of it all, anchoring it, and then literally right next door, you allow somebody to come in and build a motorsports track that just generates a lot of noise. like so much noise where no one in their right mind would want to build a neighborhood next door to it for full-time family living, and no one would want to build an office park to work there with all the noise. Rouse's Market's phone lines are open. We'll talk about that. Ghassan Korban's going to join us when we return from the Sewerage and Water Board Executive Director. We'll talk more about this Times-Picayune article that missed the whole main point of why the growth in Bridge City, Fairfield has not happened. No one wants to be next to a noisy motorsports track. Pure and simple. Hey, every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, the truck and SUV dealership. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Trey Yen in Mandeville. A New Orleans tradition for over 40 years. Serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Barely a sprinkle today. Nothing to worry about. I don't think it was enough rain to water the plants on this Tuesday afternoon in the city. As we fade towards summer, we're almost there. The heat and humidity's starting to get going, that's for sure. And another hurricane season. I love getting this guy on the program. I think he's doing it right, trying to dig us out of a tremendous hole that was or still is the Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan Korban's with us, Executive Director at the Sewage and Water Board. How you doing, Ghassan?
I'm doing well. How are you, Corey?
I'm doing really well this afternoon. Nice to have you again.
Always good to be on your show.
Yep. Do you get a little nervous when a little rain is rolling into the city?
Well, like today was my kind of rainy day. It's like you said, the sprinkle, short-lived, and maybe enough to water the plants and then it just goes away. So, do I get nervous? A little bit, of course, just because we live in a bowl and things can happen. But we're doing everything we can to be ready for the season, and we are looking very good at the beginning of the season.
That's really a great way to look at it. We live in a bowl.
I mean, it's a reality. We have the most active drainage system anywhere in the country, or even majority of the world. We have to actively pump water to stay dry versus just let the gravity take the water and dump it in a river or in a lake. Here we have to be on alert 24/7, and when it rains, we have to turn our pumps on to make sure that we pump that water out as fast as we can.
Hey, Ghassan, I want to talk to you about some specific topics, obviously. Can we do kind of a macro view that I think maybe a lot of folks don't even realize any of this? We just sort of assume or guess. Do you mind if I ask you some sort of macro or just broad-based questions before we get going?
Absolutely. It's your show, Corey, and you do what you need to do to enlighten your audience.
All right. Can you explain the system in New Orleans? We live in a bowl, so we pump this water out. Explain just briefly the system, because it's, over a century old. Why don't we use new turbines and new pumps and new electricity? Why are we on this old electricity? We convert electricity. What's the difference between turbines and pumps, and where do we take the water from? Where does the water go? Those types of things. Can you kind of give us a kind of Cliff Notes, brief sort of synopsis of the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board system?
Certainly. So let's break it down, starting with the topography of the city. So in most cases, virtually always, with very, very few exceptions, actually, the river or the lake basically are the lowest points in a topography or in a city, where the water that falls on a city flows toward those bodies of water, and just basically gravity carries the water through piping or through surface and gets rid of that water. In our case, because we're in a bowl, the lake and the river are at the highest point. So the middle of the city is lower than the outside of the city. So if you literally, it is a bowl. So when it rains, the water would want to obviously naturally gravitate toward the lowest point, and then it starts rising. And if we don't pump, the city would fill up with water, because it can't make it on either edge, on either side of the city. It can't climb the higher elevation at either the river or at the lake. That's why we have 24 pumping stations throughout the city, and they're all connected with canals, series of canals. And in some cases, smaller pipe obviously capture the water from the streets and carry it to larger pipes, and the larger pipes dump the water into the canals, and canals carry the water toward, any of those pumping stations, and then the pumps pump the water out. Predominantly into the lake, with one or two exceptions where we pump water into the river. Now, we are in the midst of modernizing our power supply. For 100 plus years, we've been using old turbines. You've heard us refer to turbine 4, turbine 5, turbine 1 and 3 has been decommissioned. They're over 100 years old each. So we are in the middle of building a substation that will be owned and operated by Entergy, and that becomes the primary source of power for us. And that power would be utilized via what we call them frequency changers, where they change the power that Entergy gives us from 60 hertz to 25 hertz, which what typically powers the majority and the largest of our pumps, which run on very old, antiquated technology, but it still works. It just needs that frequency changer to allow us to take that new power, 60 hertz, to drive those motors and then allow us to pump. So we are changing that technology. We are going to be more durable, more reliable, more efficient, with a primary source of power, meaning the Entergy. And next to it, we'll have more equally modern turbines that will, again, be reliable and more efficient. And that's all due to be completed toward the end of 2024 and maybe part of 2025.
There'll be no old turbines at all?
Hopefully those will be either decommissioned, or they'll be just basically set aside for the worst case emergency, in case not only Entergy basically have an outage, but also our new turbines don't work, which is very unlikely to have those two scenarios happen at the same time. Then we may rely on one of the old turbines just as a backup to the backup.
Yeah,
so
the new turbines,
not to use them ever.
The new turbines wouldn't require this power conversion, right?
The new turbines will create 60 hertz, so it will be like the primary source, which is the Entergy substation. But the frequency changer will always be there to allow us to use
the old turbines if you had to.
So basically, look at it this way: both sides, the source of power and the machine, have to be compatible, have to be the same. So unless we change the pumps into 60 hertz, we always have to use an adapter in between, basically, to allow us to use the new source of power, which is 60 hertz, and then it changes it to 25 hertz to be able to drive the old pumps.
So old turbines, old pumps run on 25. The new turbines or power source will run on 60, but you still have to convert back to 25 to run the old pumps.
Yes. And then obviously phase 2 of the modernization is to rebuild those pumps and make them 60 hertz, and then we can get rid of the frequency changers.
Exactly.
That's a 10 to 20 year plan, obviously, but the frequency changers will work beautifully. They're on their way here. We have 3 that's being purchased, so that will never be an issue for us. So we're heading in the right direction to be in a very, very great pace by maybe less than 2 years.
Now, this frequency changer, you order that out at some industrial catalog, or it's a total custom special made item. You have some on the way, you said. Are there other public entities in the United States that still have old pumps or turbines that do anything anywhere close to this type of thing?
Probably less than a handful, if that. We are very unique. and we have to seek specialized equipment and manufacturers who can manufacture these pieces of equipment for us.
And eventually, Ghassan, it won't be that way. It'll be the most modern, be like how the drainage system in any city in America, essentially, right?
It will be more modern and more reliable, but we will never change the topography. We will always be the one
right.
and only active drainage system in the United States in terms of having to pump water without having the luxury of depending or relying on gravity.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I just meant the pumps, the power conversion, the turbines, all of that type of stuff. That'll eventually be as high-tech, state-of-the-art as possible, right?
Yes, that's our vision. Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, when we come back, I got a bunch of topics. I'd love to talk to you about retention ponds and if that system, since the ponds are going to be brand new, do you have to tap into the existing system for pumping and draining, or could the retention ponds have all new pumps and drains and be an entirely separate system? So that system would be new and operate independently from the existing system that you're presently trying to tweak and make much better, more modernized, more efficient. That system basically pumps out canals, neighborhoods, streets. This other system would pump out an entirely new system of retention ponds pretty much exclusively around the city. Chew on that, Ghassan. I'm going to take a really quick break. We'll come right back, talk more about that. We're visiting with the executive director of the Sewage and Water Board, Ghassan Korban. We've got a lot to talk about. Bills, overbilling, unpaid bills, a whole lot with the Sewage and Water Board, City of New Orleans. Don't move.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
When
USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers. Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Ghassan Korban's with us, the executive director of the Sewerage and Water Board. What about retention ponds, Ghassan? It's ridiculous. It's 18 years after Katrina. Junkets and trips to the Netherlands and other places where they work with water instead of against it, utilizing our wood screw pumps too. And, we kind of work against the water. We don't work with it. I mean, we live on a river and a lake. There's 1.2 million people in the metro. Maybe 1,000 people live on the water instead of tens of thousands. It's crazy. Why no retention ponds anywhere? I mean, I've seen a handful on like a blighted street corner somewhere where maybe they removed the house and dug a retention pond about the size of maybe 3 or 4 of a, kind of backyard swimming pool type thing. And I'm glad to see them. I'd like to see a proliferation of them. Why no retention ponds in Metro New Orleans? And it makes your job a hell of a lot harder.
Well, I mean, you're spot on. The retention ponds are much needed in the city, and they can be extremely beneficial. And just for the sake of your audience, basically the idea here is to capture water where it falls, right? Why carry water from point A to point B if you can just hold it there, especially during high intensity rain? So if our system, let's say rule of thumb, we can pump 1 inch of rain per hour. So if it rains an inch an hour for a prolonged time, if it's that steady, we can keep up with the pumping, and the city is dry. It's when it dumps 3-4 inches an hour for an hour or two, that's when our system becomes overwhelmed and inundated, where we cannot keep up. So that's where the retaining ponds and will become extremely helpful, because then when the water gets to a certain level where we can no longer take it and pump it, then it's diverted and held in large ponds temporarily until our system has, let's say that the event is subsided, and now that the pumping has caught up, and now we can either keep the water where it is based on what we end up building, or pump that water back into the canals and then pump it into the lake. So it's basically buying ourselves time and storing the water away from people's properties, and obviously eliminate the potential for damage. So why we don't do that is because it's costly, and it also requires large footprints. I mean, we have built in places we shouldn't have. and water goes where it needs to go in the lowest points. And that's where some development has taken place years ago. And I'm not necessarily questioning the wisdom of the people who preceded us, but the time has come where some locations have to be looked at as places where water can and should go and retained until we are comfortable enough to pump it in the canal, because we had caught up, and then we can pump that water.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a vision. I think the city has done some of those. We have done about over 10 projects, not the size that we need to build them, but we're actually setting the tone, and we're proving that method or that approach, nature-based solution, can be part of the protection for our city, and we need to do it at a much, much larger scale.
Now, you mentioned it's costly. Obviously, it costs money. That retention ponds aren't free, but it really isn't costly, right? It's actually cost effective. It's an inexpensive way to do drainage, right?
Yes. Once you build it, yes, it becomes a very efficient and effective way to manage water. It's the actual finding the land, purchasing, properties, and obviously the grading and the construction of the actual pond. And then, you have an ongoing cost because of pumping out of the ponds when you need to.
Yep.
But it's definitely a very feasible and very logical approach, and we should do more of it in the city.
No, I mean, I'll tell you a prime example. I mean, I think somewhere like Broad at Washington Avenue, you probably need both Broad and Washington Avenue at that intersection probably need to be like a bridge that's like 6, 8, 10 feet in the air. Like the road is actually a bridge, and the roadway is dug out, and that is a retention pond. That's one of the lowest points in the city. It's I guess we can't abandon those buildings and neighborhoods in that Broadmoor area, but I think we need to get creative where the streets and neutral grounds of those areas maybe need to be retention ponds and bridges built for vehicular traffic, low-rise bridges, not something high, just something that is above the potential retention pond. You look at these places in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, and this is what makes me sad about like the flood wall on Hain Boulevard in the east. It's not designed for people. 999 out of 1,000 days a year out of the time, it's just there. One day out of 1,000 days, it's used to keep water away from us. So those 999 out of 1,000 days, no one can go sit out there or jog out there or utilize it or any of that. And the same thing with, retention ponds and any of these other water features. It'd be something we could park, jog by, fish, something that makes the neighborhood better, everything better. And then the one day out of 1,000, it helps us when it's flooding.
Absolutely. You reverse it. And that's exactly what they've done in Netherlands. They've created amenities and destinations. And that's the true meaning of living with water, and we can do that. I mean, we have done that here, again, on small scale basis, kind of setting the tone, but that's absolutely the right way to do it. And, these places could become beautiful destinations for neighborhoods, and they don't necessarily have to be unsightly at all. And you can be creative and surgical where you can put them. So we're definitely, that's something that is on our menu of options, and we're constantly looking for the potential or the opportunities to do that. So
that Elysian Fields, that one on Elysian Fields, essentially from like the river to the lake, that linear idea, just the renderings of it were beautiful, Ghassan. I mean, that neutral ground is unused. Human beings do not go on that neutral ground. With this linear, retention pond / park / fishing piers / bike paths, jogging paths, it would bring people to that area. And there's another area, Mirabeau at St. Bernard Avenue. I think it was like a nun's home. It's about 20 acres of land that's supposed to be a humongous retention pond for that kind of Gentilly Oak Park area over there by City Park. So,
right. Marabou will be our next project. The city, our city partners and us are talking about how we can move that project forward, because it will be probably one of the largest scale retainage, water retainage projects in the city. And we're very excited about that potential. So you're definitely spot on in terms of locations and the approach. So you've done your homework. I'm very impressed.
Ghassan, I mean, I've used this with you before, this analogy. It's like a golf course, you know, the tee boxes, the fairway, and the greens. Even people that don't play golf know what those are. The high up parts, the fairways, the tee boxes, and the green. That's where everyone lives. The rough and the little bayous and canals, they are what they are. No one's there. The golf courses, when they know a big storm's coming in, they pump out the ponds and bayous and, you know, little retention ponds on their golf course. They lower the water volume. So when the rain comes, it hits the fairways, tee boxes, and greens. They get the rainwater they need to thrive. And then the water they don't need runs off through the rough into these retention ponds that have been lowered. So all they're worrying about is pumping retention ponds, not pumping water off of a flooded golf course. We kind of do it backwards. We're pumping water out of streets and neighborhoods instead of pumping water out of retention ponds, and the streets and neighborhoods would be high and dry even during the worst downfalls.
Yeah. Again, you're right on. But I mean, this is a vision, and it will take some time, and again, the more funding, and there's so many fronts we can open at the same time. We're focusing on power now, and we definitely haven't lost sight of, you know, that approach, and we have documented that's a much needed layer of protection that the city needs to to allow us to exist and thrive for the next 100 years and beyond.
Hey, Ghassan, speaking about power, I'd love to talk to you about the power complex updates. Can you hang on one more segment to talk about that and some of the paving that you guys have been doing?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Ghassan Korban's with us, Executive Director at the Sewage and Water Board. Also want to talk to you about the smart metering update, workforce development, some of the unpaid bills, some of the overbilling, all of that good stuff. Ghassan Korban's with us. Don't move, New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Leidenheimer French bread. Since 1896, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Over 125 years, fifth generation, family owned and operated, and still baking that Leidenheimer French bread right here in New Orleans. Served in the city's finest restaurants. That po' boy you're enjoying on Leidenheimer French bread.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ghassan Korban is with us from the Sewerage and Water Board on this Tuesday afternoon. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us on radio, on television, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. Hey, Ghassan, I saw on Monticello 2 huge new utility poles go up. Must be 50, 60, 70 feet in the air. Lots of power crews on Monticello at the parish line working to upgrade the power lines, it looks like, leading to this new complex. Fill us in on the latest, the power complex update.
So what you're seeing are Entergy crews putting up poles to connect the substation that is being constructed on our plant, the one I spoke of earlier, and connecting it to the transmission lines, which are very adjacent to our plant where actually the substation is going. So those poles will be the intermediate spot point between the substation and the large high transmission lines that you would see running parallel with our plant. So progress is being made. Entergy is on track, getting that substation built, and it's getting very, very exciting to see because now it's visible and you see it progressing very nicely. We, on our end, are continue to do our part. I spoke about the frequency changers. We're bringing a new turbine, which we're going to call Turbine 7. We're bringing a lot of components to that to stand up as a redundant system to the substation. We're building a utility rack that will carry the power from that complex to a central control so we can distribute that power to where it's needed to the, like I said, the 24 pumping station that we have throughout the city. So very exciting. It's progressing very nicely. And again, we're building a system for the next 50 plus years for the city. So things are looking very hopeful.
The project on the front door on Claiborne looks complete, at least Claiborne back to 3 lanes in each direction and no more riding on the neutral ground. Fill us in on that and paving projects in general, really, Ghassan. You guys are making that a priority?
Absolutely. So that project you're referring to was the refurbishment of 4 portable drinking water pumps. And they were very, very old, as you can imagine. And now they're all brand new, and then they're also variable speed. And this is part of trying to reduce the possibilities of ball wire advisories in the city. So what that means is that these are now reliable pumping ability to take the purified water and push it into the system so it is delivered to your house. So the chances of having drop in pressure with these pumps becomes less likely because they're variable speed and we can adjust if anything happens in the system that we can offset and compensate for the loss. So very, very good and exciting project that, like I said, is complete. Traffic is back to normal, and we are proceeding with phase 2, refurbishing 2 other pumps, which is we have a total of 8. So that would put us at 6 newer ones that, again, bring not only redundancy but also reliability. So we're very excited. As far as paving, we're talking about surface cuts. You know, we're always responding to either a water main break or a choke in a sewer, and we make more holes than we resurface or patch. So we're always creating more holes in the city, and then we create a backlog. And we're currently looking at about 3,000 locations throughout the city that have not been restored for quite some time. So we've made it a priority. We've increased the budget, and we brought on 2 contractors to help us to reduce that backlog almost completely. We are joined with the city that is bringing about $8.3 million to this effort, again, to eliminate the backlog and then allowing us to start keeping up with the number of locations that we create on a daily basis and come back immediately after, hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, and close those holes that we generate because of the work that we needed to do underground. So we're going in the right direction. We're making progress. We've got the money to do that project, and it's very exciting and it's visible, and people are seeing the results because we're patching and resurfacing areas in front of people's homes that they've been staring at for months on end. So very, very exciting to see that progressing, and we're heading in the right direction. So very, very excited.
Ghassan, we've got less than a minute to go. We're on the brink of hurricane season. Current pumping and power status at the Sewage and Water Board.
We're in good shape. We have about 92 of the 99 drainage pumps that are available. We're bringing a couple of those back online sometime in early to late June. So we're going to be in good shape. We have redundancy in those numbers. So again, nothing alarming. We have ample power to match the peak needs, during high intensity events. So we're standing very very solid. We're confident, and obviously I always warn about that one storm that overwhelms the system and any system. So we just have to be cognizant of that. But we are doing everything we can to be as ready as possible and fight any event that comes our way.
And turbines 5 and 6 are working, and you're expecting 4 to be back online in the next few weeks, right?
Absolutely. And with that, we gained back about 18 megawatts. So that's very significant. And again, we're very excited and working very hard to bring it back before end of June.
Ghassan, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
That's Ghassan Korban, Executive Director at the Sewage and Water Board, joining us on the neutral ground. Not like getting that guy on. Has just an overwhelming job, and he tackles it aggressively every day. 5 o'clock power hour on a Tuesday afternoon. Coming your way next, New Orleans and beyond.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, la, 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 that's what I said. Ooh, la, 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 that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasendampf Incorporated. We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it.
Just receiving this message from corporate. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, 5 o'clock power hour on a Tuesday, canceled. Instead, back-to-back 30-minute reruns of Laverne and Shirley. Season 3, episode 19, The Spill at the Brewery, followed by Season 6, episode 4, Fonzie comes on Laverne and Shirley. That's coming your way next. Number 9, Mr. Drew Brees bailing us out, saving the day. Jason, I always joke, like, you can check it out at Nick at Night, and folks are probably like, dude, what's Nick at Night? Like, any, like, kids going, what's Nick at Night? Nick at Night's probably been just, like, defunct for decades, right? I think there's WE TV, like WE, that plays a bunch of that stuff from the olden days. Is olden a word? Is olden a word? O-L-D-E-N? Olden days? I-N tilde? The old tilde? Olden days. So many interesting questions, topics. Just, it's like that thing you get via email. Interesting facts that you can't unsubscribe from. That's sort of like this program. Chock full of information each and every day. The topics you want or don't. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow on this Tuesday brought to you by Katie's. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? Coming out of that extended Memorial Day holiday, little recovery, get out of work early, you head to Katie's. Lunch, dinner, that in-between period, Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. You've got folks that live in the neighborhood that walk to Katie's. You have folks that live in nearby neighborhoods that drive to Katie's and make it their neighborhood bar, their neighborhood restaurant, their neighborhood hangout. And then you have folks that live nowhere near Katie's, in Metairie, down in St. Bernard, North Shore, West Bank, that head to Katie's in Mid-City a few times a week. They're locked and loaded. Part of the Katie's crew, these characters, these New Orleanians that, man, just welcoming, enjoying themselves. It is as New Orleans as it gets, a Mid-City mainstay. It's Katie's. And don't forget Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview. That's Scott Craig's other place, his New Orleans, St. Louis style deli in the old Charlie's Deli location. Harrison Avenue in between Canal Boulevard and West End, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Ghassan Korban joined us, Executive Director, Sewerage and Water Board, for a good 35 minutes. We talked about a lot of things concerning your Sewerage and Water Board. If you missed it, you can check it out right now on YouTube. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. We're live on YouTube every day. Live streaming on our website, CoreyTalks.com. 2 big hours on the radio each and every weekday, 4 to 6. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. Hope you had a good Memorial Day holiday. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser ends tomorrow officially. We got the rest of today. We got tomorrow. That's it. Tomorrow's May 31st, end of May. Humane May, month of May, trying to raise $10,000 for cats and dogs and kittens and puppies and goats and horses and any and all animals that are suffering, that are hurting in Louisiana, that are being neglected, that are being abused. We don't do a good job of having taxpayer money funneled towards those resources, those entities, I should say, that take care of that. So in Louisiana, compared to other states, there's a glaring need. That's where the Humane Society of Louisiana comes in, this nonprofit. Jeff Dorson and his crew doing the heavy lifting, doing the dirty work, coming into some trailer or house in a rural area, and there are 30 dogs in there, and 5 of them are dead, and 10 cats, and, fecal matter, urine everywhere, just a wreck, kind of hoarder mentality, broken folks, emaciated horses, go on and on. It's a horror story every day. And Jeff just grinds every day because he's passionate about it and he knows it's something that's righteous. Why don't you help us save some cats and dogs, some kittens and puppies? It's the least we can do. I donated. I've got this microphone, this camera, so I figured every Thursday I'm going to get Jeff on the program for 2 or 3 minutes, help him out at the Humane Society of Louisiana because they do great things. And then I figured every May we can raise $10,000 in a month. Let's not go crazy. Let's not make it 25 or 50 grand. Let's not make it insignificant. Something easy you can do in a day. Let's make it realistic. $10,000, enough money that they can do something with. A few years ago, they bought a bunch of kennels, saved 400 dogs, put them on a plane, sent them to a no-kill shelter. They all got adopted out. We saved 400 dogs one month. One Humane May fundraiser a few years back. 400 dogs. Please donate right now. HumaneLA.org is the website. Tomorrow is the final day of our fundraiser. HumaneLA.org. Go to the website. You'll see me laying there on a sofa with Blue Boy under a blanket. Click on that. And then click on donate, and it'll put up like $35. That'd be great. If that's too much, you want to do $5, $10, $15, $20, change it. Want to do more? $50, $75, $100, $500? Please change it. HumaneLA.org. Please go to that website right now and donate. Now, I hope you did have a good extended Memorial Day weekend. It is a Tuesday. Kind of feels like a Monday. Yesterday definitely felt like a Sunday, not a Monday. Memorial Day, I hope you took some time out yesterday, remembering those in the armed services primarily that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our precious freedom, huh? Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Rouse's Markets, winding down crawfish season at Rouse's. Fading out crawfish season. You might want to call or check with your neighborhood Rouse's and see the availability of live crawfish by the sack. Hot from the pot, ready to eat crawfish. Best quality, best price, best selection. Crawfish season winding down in South Louisiana. That means crawfish season winding down at your neighborhood Rouse's. Tastes like home, Rouse's Markets. Over 60 Rouse's. Over 60 years. I love olive oil. I'm kind of a snobby, picky eater. I like high quality stuff. I'll go get like Cola Vita. I mean, I'm not going into some $80 a bottle stuff you get only in 2 locations. You know, I like the general kind of readily available high-end type stuff, like say like a Cola Vita. Rouse's has a Rouse's labeled olive oil that I think is Cola Vita. It's from Italy. It's extra virgin. I poured them both on 2 different plates right next to each other. They float out of the bottle the same, the exact same color, the exact same flavor, the exact same taste, half the price. I don't buy Cola Vita anymore. I strictly buy Rouse's extra virgin olive oil, the Rouse's label. You can get it from Italy. Sometimes I'll have like from Greece. It's pretty amazing. The Rouse's labeled stuff, super high quality at ridiculously low prices. Lots of bang for the buck at those Rouse's labeled items. LSU Tulane baseball. Jason, how about the 19-40 wave going 4-0 when it mattered most in the conference tournament, earning an NCAA tournament bid? They earned it by winning their conference tournament. They're heading to Baton Rouge Friday night, taking on the Tigers as the 4 seed. That's good stuff. That is great stuff. When we come back, Times-Picayune article, NOLA.com, UEP Long Bridge widening didn't deliver what politicians predicted for West Jefferson. They missed the entire reason why, and it's obvious.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
A buddy of mine was telling me about a restaurant that just has a terrible name. And he's like, no, dude, it's really good. I'm like, all right. I mean, what are you going to do? You just shrug your shoulders. You can't help that the name is pathetic. We're not going to get into it. I'll tell you a great name, great restaurant. I went there for lunch today. Got one of those lunch specials under $10. It's insane. You pay more for fast food. I'm talking about Trey Yen. 18 different gourmet Chinese lunch specials to choose from. That's Tuesday through Friday. They're under $10. You office managers that need to get like 10 lunches, 20 lunches, 30 lunches, pull the van, the SUV, the car right up in front. They'll walk it out in boxes in the styrofoam containers, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 lunches. They're $10 a piece. You served 20 people in your office for $200 and it's not Subway or Chick-fil-A or Burger King? Are you kidding? It's Trey Yen. They got 18 different gourmet Chinese entrees to choose from. It's unbeatable. It might be the best lunch deal anywhere on the planet. That white to-go container is like hearty. It's heavy. Lots of combination pork and shrimp fried rice, and then your entree choice. Trey Yen, lunch specials Tuesday through Friday. Hey, they're serving dinner right now. You on the Causeway? Fire in a big to-go order. They'll walk it right out to your car, curbside delivery. Dine in at the foot of the Causeway, you North Shore folks. 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center, you South Shore folks. Yeah, 25 minutes. That's it. Foot of the Causeway, Trey Yen in Mandeville. Yummy. Yummy. You missed the 4 o'clock hour. You missed a lot. Ghassan Korban joined us, Executive Director, Sewage and Water Board, for like 35 good minutes, maybe 40 minutes, talking Sewerage and Water Board as hurricane season bees are cranking up. NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, had an article titled, UEP Long Bridge Widening Didn't Deliver What Politicians Predicted for West Jefferson. And that's pretty much the article. And they don't mention the reason why, and it's overt, it's obvious, it's glaring, it's obnoxious, it's pathetic, it's called lack of leadership, lack of foresight, wrecking the project, throwing cat poop in the punch bowl at the party. Absolutely wrecking the project. I don't know how else to say it. No, this Schwest Motorsports Park, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with Mr. Schwest. The guy wants to spend tens of millions of dollars to build a state-of-the-art racetrack. The ideal, worst case scenario, it's a rich guy's country club to race cars in Metro New Orleans. Best case scenario, maybe, that track gets a race, a Formula One race. They tried a few times, Grand Prix racing, it just failed. They tried. I'm all for that. I said last hour, someone wants to build a NASCAR track, I'm all for it. Someone wants to build a tennis facility to bring pro tennis to New Orleans. I'm all for it. I'm for New Orleans. I'm for all these things. Love to see that. Glad we have NBA, NFL, pro tournament of golf every year, on and on and on. So you get this UEP Long Bridge widening, $1 billion project, north of $1 billion. You're supposed to have this explosive growth. You know, you got anchored by this TPC golf course. You can get from Elmwood Shopping Center, Elmwood to the TPC golf course in 5 to 7 minutes. It's right there, right across a new, widened, expanded UEP Long Bridge. $1 billion with a B plus dollars invested in that bridge. Bridge City. We're going to rebrand it. You know, Airline Highway, we call it Airline Drive. Industrial Canal, we call it Industrial Waterway. We're trying to soften the blow, make it sound a little better. So instead of Bridge City, kind of rough, it's going to be Fairfield. It's kind of soft and sweet. The problem is, instead of the Fairfield community, thousands of acres surrounding the TPC golf course becoming neighborhoods and low-rise office parks and, you know, retail, just work, play, live, eat, all in this one area, conveniently located on all this acreage. Expansion all up and down 90, West Bank Expressway, Highway 90. Instead, you have that charlatan, John Alario, worried about himself, worried about his family. That's his legacy, setting up friends and family. Not a lot you can point to John Alario and go, thank God for Alario. We wouldn't have that Chevy plant and those 5,000 jobs. Thank God for Alario. Wouldn't have this, wouldn't have that. It's a joke. It's a blank resume. His mentor is Edwin Edwards. So when you bring in these painfully average people, it's like when folks say LaToya Cantrell's dumb or stupid. I'm like, no, she's not. Went to Xavier. She's educated. She's not stupid. She's painfully average. She lacks leadership skills. She's no difference maker. She's no change agent. She's not dumb. Just painfully average. John Alario is painfully average. He doesn't have leadership skills. He's not a change agent, a difference maker. His mentor is Edwin Edwards. It's a joke. He's a hack Louisiana politician by definition, a joke, a lightweight, a charlatan. So he comes in, and this Swiss guy, hey, I got tens of millions of dollars. I want to build this racetrack. And all Alario can see is, wow, this first thing in Fairfield outside the golf course coming. It's working. I remember Schwetz going, man, our track, I had him on the show, or one of the folks from the racetrack years ago. It's 30 minutes from downtown. Most tracks are 45 minutes or an hour from downtown. You want to know why they're 45 minutes or an hour from downtown of the cities they're around? Because they're loud, they're noisy. It's a racetrack. So you have to think about it. It's a plus. You want it. Thank God for Mr. Schwest and his $50+ million to build this racetrack. But a real leader would say, hey, Mr. Schwest, let's go down Highway 90 about, 10, 15 minutes. Past Fairfield. This is a different kind of bill. We're trying to get families and schools and, low-rise kind of office park type stuff. Lots of green and trees. And we got the TPC golf course anchor it and the annual PGA Tour stop anchoring this. But we can't have a noisy racetrack. That'll wreck the whole project. No one would want to build a neighborhood next to that. No one wants an office park next to that noise. Screeching tires, motors going. Noisy. It's a racetrack. It's a motorsport track. Let's go just down the road by that. Those speaking of charlatans, jokers, Fred Hebe and Butch Ward, the clowns that own the dump next to the Jefferson Parish dump. That's a good buffer for the sound. Let's build right beyond that. Let's find out who owns that land. Let's build right on Highway 90. Put a bunch of landscaping and trees. You'll never know the dump's even there. But it acts as a natural buffer. Nothing's going to be built there. Keeps the sound on the track side. No, but instead, Alario just short-sighted, doesn't know any better, doesn't have the foresight, doesn't look into it. Just ready, fire, aim. Yeah, build your track. And it literally wrecked the entire Fairfield development. There is no Fairfield development. There's nothing there outside of the TPC golf course and this racetrack, and there never will be anything. No one wants to build a neighborhood. Well, they might build this John Alario sports complex for AAU sports tournaments and the like, and they're going to have to deal with the noise of the racetrack. And after a few years, the parents will probably be like, the whole time we're watching our kids play baseball, I'm hearing that damn racetrack. Let's go to Hoover, Alabama. Let's go to Austin instead. Let's go to the one in New Orleans at the old Six Flags site, if that ever gets built. Hey, TV audience, we'll see you tomorrow. Straight up, 4 o'clock, Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, mañana. No, so they build this loud, noisy track. No neighborhoods going in there, no office development, no nothing. No one wants to be near that. So the widening of the UEP Long Bridge and the expected booming growth on the West Bank never happened because the track wrecked it. That's it. Period. End of story. Now, let's not kid ourselves. We don't have a lot of influx of people coming to New Orleans. We're about 1.2 million in the metro, have been for 40 years, 45 years. No real growth, kind of stagnant. But you'd have some folks in the metro area moving to the West Bank. You'd have some new folks moving there. You'd have some folks interested in that area with the new UEP Long Bridge expansion. So convenient. From Fairfield to Elmwood, you're right there. And then you're right down Clearview to the heart of Old Jefferson and Metairie. It's right there. Get on River Road, get on Jefferson Highway, Earhart Expressway. Boom, you're right there, right in New Orleans. It's easy. It's convenient. Thousands of acres. No, John Alario ultimately, as the political leader, lacked the foresight, the brains, the wherewithal to be like, we don't want a track here. We love this Schwest track idea. Let's go right down the road. Let me be a leader. Let me be the politician you guys elected to be representing the West Bank and make sure this track project gets built. But that it doesn't wreck the Fairfield development. $1 billion plus UEP Long Bridge, that's the least bit. It would have been billions of dollars eventually invested in that area if there were no racetrack there. The racetrack wrecked the Fairfield development. End of story. There's no way around it unless they go to all electric cars and some kind of rubber tires that don't squeal on the track. Unless they can get motorsports silent, it's done. The only solution, sadly, and it's impossible, shut down the track, destroy the track, rebuild it 8-10 miles down the road. It's just stupid. It's not happening. Schwest is like, I like my track. I'm keep investing in my track. My track's not going anywhere. No one talks to him about it going anywhere. I don't know if people necessarily should. If it's like, the mess has been made. Thank you, John Alario. That's what you get when you get painfully average people, especially that lean towards more the crooked side than being civic-minded, setting up themselves and their friends and family. You get no leadership, no foresight, no intelligence, no real wherewithal to see how this would not be a good thing for the Fairfield development. Instead, he greenlights the track, and that's the end of that. UEP Long Bridge widening didn't deliver what politicians predicted for West Jefferson. That's a NOLA.com Times-Picayune article. And they totally missed the track point of view, how the noisy racetrack is the reason. You can be on a Saturday by Oshner on Jefferson Highway, say around, I don't know, what is that? What's that Earhart Expressway exit off the to Oshner? Deck Bar. You can be like Deck Bar and Jefferson Highway on a Saturday. You sit at that traffic light, roll down your window. You will hear the racetrack You'll hear, if you listen, it's not like, man, you don't want to buy a house near Avenel. Near Oshner on Jefferson Highway and Deck Bar, you can hear the racetrack on the West Bank. No, it's not like that. It's not a disturbance. It's not loud. But if you try to listen, you can hear it, meaning it's that loud. It's that many miles away across the Mississippi River with the two levees as buffers. You can still physically hear it. So right next door, 500 yards away, a quarter mile away, an eighth of a mile away, yeah, you can hear it. There are some sides of the TPC golf course where I'll be playing and I'm just like, my God, instead of me being like in this nature preserve and in the wilderness, in the outdoors, I'm hearing that. And it's loud. Motors revving, tires screeching. I have nothing against it. I wish it were bigger. I wish we had a race there. I wish it keeps growing. I wish it was a big money maker. Wish all kind of development came around it. I wish it was 10, 15 minutes down the road where it's supposed to be. I'm 100% for it. Just not at the Fairfield development. It's like, I love ketchup. Just don't want it on my steak. You know? I love the Motorsports Park. Schwest did nothing wrong. Alario and West Bank leaders did it wrong. $1 billion+ UEP Long Bridge expansion, just wasted. Fairfield, this new development, never going to happen. No, John Alario is number one mover, number one culprit. Lack of leadership, lack of foresight, couldn't see the big picture and wrecked it through kitty poop, cat poop in the punch bowl at the party. Wrecked the party. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, you're right. We broadcast live on radio, on television, live streaming, YouTube from the Buddy Diliberto River Cities Total Maintenance Studios. You might want to remember River Cities Total Maintenance this time of year and their website, nolaac.com. nolaac.com. You'll find the phone number there, nolaac.com. Chances are you, me, we're not going to need air conditioning help this summer. Chances are our system will make it right through the summer. We'll be cool and comfortable. But somebody out there listening, watching, they're going to have air conditioning problems. AC's making a funny noise, not cooling enough, worse, not working at all. You don't have to sleep at the in-laws. You don't have to rent a hotel room. You don't have to sleep in the heat. You call River Cities Total Maintenance. You get honest air conditioning experts. Now think about that. I want honest air conditioning, folks, because I don't want to learn about air conditioning. I want somebody I can trust. And I want experts so they diagnose it right and fix it right away. And speaking of right away, besides honest air conditioning experts, because my air conditioning isn't working in South Louisiana in summertime, I want folks that come immediately. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. That's River Cities Total Maintenance. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. LSU Tulane baseball. Bertman Box, the Baton Rouge Regional, Friday night. That's right. Tulane was 15-40 going into the AAC tournament. 15-40. They went 4-0. They won the tournament. Automatic bid to the NCAA Big Dance. 15-40 a few days ago. Now they're going to Baton Rouge to take on LSU with nothing at all to lose. With confidence. They're playing well. No Six Flags happening. City and developers feuding. And it's 10 to 15 million bucks going nowhere fast. No Pontchartrain Beach. Restoration plan rejected. Lincoln Beach, we love to talk. You know, Lowe's to the Target to the old, I should say Target to the old Lowe's by the plaza, right across the street, the old Sam's Club, Walmart, pre-Katrina, Mackey Film Studios. Mackey Film Studios announcement 9 months ago, not a shovel in the ground, not a piece of trash picked up on those lots. Nothing done, zero. The Lowe's to Target. We had Oliver Thomas on the program a couple of months ago saying that deal ain't happening. So Lincoln Beach, a lot of talk, 25 million, the city talking. Haven't seen a shovel on the ground out there. Pontchartrain Beach dead. Six Flags on life support. West End like Lincoln Beach, just people talking. Come on, New Orleans. Got to do better than that. Got to do better than that. Hey, the Humane May fundraiser, our Humane May fundraiser ending tomorrow, could really use your help. Winding down last minute. The stragglers, that's me. Doesn't matter if you're a straggler. Just matters that you get it done before the deadline, that you participated, that you said, you know what? I'm going to join Corey. I'm going to walk with Corey. We're going to save animals. Making it easy. It's easy for us. We just donate. I did. HumaneLA.org. Donated $100. HumaneLA.org. You can do the same thing. And then Jeff Dorson does the heavy lifting, the hard work, saving those animals. We're just funding it. HumaneLA.org. Our fundraiser ends tomorrow. We do it every May, the whole month. Annual fundraiser ends tomorrow. Please donate, HumaneLA.org. Hey, Fausto's opened at 5, about 40 minutes ago for the evening. They'll go till 9 p.m. tonight. Sit at the bar, dine inside, or eat outside, outdoor white tablecloth dining. New Orleans-inspired Sicilian and Italian. Tonight for dinner, make it Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and we're maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Uh-oh. Some Pasueto breaking news. Thanks to Channel 4's website. Kristen Morales still has her job with the sheriff's office. The IG is trying to recover $161,000 in expert and attorney fees in her unsuccessful legal case to keep her job. Plus kind of a bomb drop today. Apparently, Kristen Morales had a bunch of porn on her computer at the IG's office. Nice. By the way, Kristen Morales, who was fired by the IG's office for stealing office property, was immediately hired by Sheriff Susan Hudson. She was making $90,000 a year at the OIG. She makes $160,000 with Susan Hudson. $155,000. She's the Mr. Spock to Hudson's Captain Kirk. She's like the number 2 deputy sheriff. She was supposed to resign a few months ago. Is not allowed at the sheriff's facility. Works from her home. Titleless position. Still making $155,000 a year. Doing what? We absolutely do not know. But what we do know, Susan Hudson and Morales are pals. Kristen Morales and Susan Hudson are friends. So much so that Sheriff Susan Hudson and Deputy Sheriff or Assistant Sheriff Kristen Morales live together, shared an apartment together, live together. They're that tight. They're that close. I mean, are there people that live together, like, let's just share expenses, we never see each other, I'm not even friends with them? Yes. But I don't think Kristen Morales or Susan Hudson would deny the close friendship. Not acquaintances, very, very close. Close friends, best friends, that type of thing. Special relationship. Live together. Shared an apartment together. So this is Sheriff Hudson's pal that she continues to keep on the city payroll at north of $155,000 a year. It's $12,000-$13,000 a month. Kristen Morales, what she's doing, we have no idea. It's now 2-3 months later. It's, $45,000 later of city taxpayer money. You know what the average family of 4 takes in a year. Susan Hudson's got to do a little better than that. This learning on the job thing, it's like a year and a half into it now. Kristen Morales, still employed by the Sheriff's Department. Susan Hudson refuses to fire her pal, who makes $12,000-$13,000 a month. Wow. NOLA.com, Times-Picayune article titled, UEP Long Bridge Widening Didn't Deliver What Politicians Predicted for West Jefferson. They missed the main point of why the growth in Bridge City / Fairfield did not happen. It's easy. This motorsports park, that track, wrecked the Fairfield development. The track isn't the problem. The track in that location is the problem. Mr. Schwest isn't a problem, coming up with $50+ million of his own money to build this track. Need more of those types of people. But you need elected officials that are leaders saying, dude, we just spent $1 billion on this UEP Long Bridge. We got this TPC golf course. It's going to be a green area. It's going to be work, play, live, the whole 9 yards. Low-rise office parks, like think Covington Mandeville, like Chevron, in the woods. We've already got the golf course in the woods. These thousands of acres are going to be developed that way. Ballparks and parks and neighborhoods and some retail and some low-rise office park type stuff. So a motorsports park just simply doesn't fit. Too loud, too much noise. But let me tell you, because I got some leadership skills, we're going to go right down Highway 90, 15 minutes down the road, right past these trash dumps, which will work as a perfect buffer for the noise. We'll landscape around them. No one will even know they're there. And you build your state-of-the-art racetrack right there. Perfect. Everyone wins. Instead, and I don't blame Schwest, he's the private guy. I want to build a track. Alario given the green light. Alario's so desperate for anything like, yes, our first client for the new Fairfield development. A motorsports track? So just the loud noise of the motors revving, the tires squealing. No one wants to locate their neighborhood, their house. I want to live near that. No one wants their office parked there. No one wants to work near that. It's loud. It's obnoxious. And I'm not against it. I'm pro motorsports track down the road. I remember I had on folks from the track talking about, it's only 30 minutes from the Superdome. Most tracks in other cities are 45 minutes or an hour because of the noise. No, you elect folks that lack leadership skills, don't have the foresight, the wherewithal to see the bigger picture. And it's criminal because it's $1 billion new UEP Long Bridge. It's rebranding Bridge City Fairfield. It's getting the TPC golf course there. It's all ready to go. And now it's the cat poop in the punch bowl and the party's wrecked because John Alario allowed this noisy track to be located there. And no one wants to live near that. No one wants to work near that. Period. End of story. Discussion over with. No way to fix it. No way to tame it. No way to make it better. It's over with. Fairfield is done. Thank you, John Alario. $1 billion UEP Long Bridge. Wow. Boy, I got a great story. And you can go to my Twitter at Corey Johnson or just look it up. CBS News probably has it, or CBS. Couple of years ago, they did it was a pandemic story on New Orleans. Doreen Ketchens, who's over there on Royal in Orleans by the Rouses in the French Quarter. She's the clarinetist. Her husband plays the tuba. I think her daughter plays the drums. Just a world-class talent. Doreen Ketchens, just part of the French Quarter. They did a story on CBS Morning News about the pandemic. Maybe 18 months ago, 2 years ago. Ketchens was part of it. They're talking to her about where she'd love to play, Albert Hall in London, Kennedy Center. The Kennedy Center director saw the story and was like, boy, I'd love to get her. Reached out. She performed recently there, and CBS Morning News covered it, kind of like a follow-up story to the original. Hey, we're going to follow up on several stories and see where they've gone, stories we've done in the past. Our first one is Doreen Ketchens, and it just is she's a great ambassador for the city. The CBS News 60 Minutes type production on this CBS Morning News. It's just top line production work. They really make New Orleans look great. It is a great tourism piece. It's priceless. Makes you proud to be a New Orleanian. No, and Ketchens is, like I said, just a great ambassador. Just handles herself so well, humble, classy, and it's just a great piece. And it's about her playing at the Kennedy Center, just a standing ovation. She comes back out again for an encore, and just after the encore, just the way she flails her hands, just yells humble and very happy and proud. It's just a great story. You need to check it out as a New Orleanian, just for the feel-good part of it. Maybe you need some, affirmation about how great our city is, even when we struggle, even when people move out of the city, even when New Orleanians, are very critical of the city, and I don't go there because of the crime or blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I just booked a Bayona reservation on Dauphine, Susan Spicer's restaurant, right in the heart of the quarter. Are you kidding me? Not running me out of my city. Got to be careful. Head on a swivel type stuff sometimes. That's unfortunate, but not running me out of my city. Impossible. No, just a great story. CBS Morning News covered it again, or the follow-up, because Doreen Ketchens got to live one of her dreams, and that's performing at the Kennedy Center, and she cranked the ball out the park. Grand slam home run. Cleared the bases. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, Tulane baseball, they were 15-40 about 4 days ago. 15-40. Disastrous season. They go into the conference tournament, the AAC tournament. They go 4-0. They win the thing. They'll be in Baton Rouge as the 4 seed. NCAA postseason, regionals, Baton Rouge, taking on LSU. I think Ole Miss was the final team in last year into the NCAA tournament. They had won 23 of 25. They win the national title. No, Tulane's not winning the national title, but it's a great story. 4-0. getting into postseason play after a season that was totally forgettable. Hey, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers right down the street from the Green Wave campus, Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Real diamonds, natural diamonds, tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, diamond stud earrings. New Orleanians that know Friend and Company when it comes to engagement rings. Real diamonds, natural diamonds, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Oh, look who's joining us. The star of the program. Oh, Blue Boy, OLE Blue Boy. What's up, buddy? Thank Jason. Thank the listening and viewing audience. Remind folks that it's Tuesday, not Monday, Memorial Day weekend, and come back tomorrow, Wide Open Wednesday, 4 p.m. Blue Boy, you're the best.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.